All right, welcome back. So, price of oil, we're looking at $55.86 versus $55.86. So it's looking like oil has stayed the same over week.
According to these stats, we're par for the course.
Yeah, we're par for the course on that one. So
and Western Canadian Select, same thing.
Same thing.
Yep.
46.07 versus 46.07.
For listings and sales for Metro Calgary, our listings are at 76.46 versus 76.22, which is up 24 listings. For sales, 16.96 versus 17.35, which is down about 2.25%.
There we go. Red Deer, listings for Red Deer, 767 versus 759, so we're up 8. And sales 141 versus 152, so we're down 7.24%.
And for Lethbridge, we've got listings at 807 versus 829, which is down 22 listings. And for sales, we've got 188 versus 201, which is down 6.47%. When I look at these numbers, I'm seeing single digits and just in the low 20s, so not astronomical by any means.
No. Nuts.
And this brings up a good time to talk about what we're seeing with buyers and sellers right now, Todd. From collaborating with the other managers and from being in the chair myself and hearing the stories of what's going on, we're hearing that right now we've got buyers that are pulling the trigger,
right,
making purchases happen. They are in the conditional period and they're changing their minds. They seem to be getting cold feet in one way or the other. Buyers seem to be having issues with what a lot of our realtors would feel are very minute and usually things that would not torpedo a sale. I think it's a good time to consider things have picked up for the last 3 months.
Yep.
And as a result, buyers are now pulling the trigger a little faster than they were accustomed to. And as such, they might feel a little rushed. So maybe doing a little bit more of preconditioning them for things that could happen. That way when a toilet's loose at an inspection, or maybe a vent is off of the ceiling fan in the master bathroom. Smaller things that really should not torpedo a deal.
Absolutely.
Prepping them that these things can come up.
Sorry to interrupt you. It's setting buyer expectations, right? Let's go back to when you get the phone call from the buyer. They want to go look at property. So we've now got the pre-approval. Let's get them into the office, set up a meeting, and talk about the whole process and set the expectation as to what's going to happen throughout the whole transaction. And after that home inspection, what that looks like. You end up with a shopping list. It's not time to go back to the seller to ask for the seller to tighten leaky bolts on the toilet.
Yes.
So to walk away from those things is such a shame because it's a waste of the buyer's own money purchasing the home inspection in the first place.
Yes.
So we need to be accountable to set our own buyers' expectations up from the beginning. So when we hit these stages through the transaction, they're solid in body and mind to know that they actually are confident to buy that property.
Yes.
Right? We don't want them the next morning calling us saying, I want out.
Yes.
I've had that call. That's the worst call to get.
Yep.
Right? And as you're acting on your own buyer's best interest through fiduciary duties, you have to help them. And lawful instructions, obviously, right?
Yep.
But we got to get them through these things, and hopefully we can do that sooner than later in the transaction.
Right.
Not always possible.
Not always possible. Sometimes buyers as well, they get caught up on one point or another. And in the grand scheme of things, those are very small.
Yeah.
We have some buyers that are completely non-handy, not able to paint walls.
That's official term, isn't it? Non-handy.
I guess so.
Non-handy.
It just came to me. But the fear of having to paint 3 rooms in a home and fix some baseboards. The grand scheme of things, that's not expensive repairs.
Right.
But they will walk away from the sale, and then when you really look at it, the next home that they find is going to be another $500 inspection. More than likely it will be anyways. Whereas that $500 could paint a couple rooms and install some baseboards.
Correct.
And I know I'm just giving one example, but so many times the buyers may consider walking away, not realizing they're going to have to spend more money again. They're going to have to jump through more hoops for the next sale. It's going to be a long, drawn-out process. And while us realtors, we don't mind helping them find the right property, that's what we do. But sometimes they'll walk away not knowing that it's going to be a daunting task to find another one with such little problems or
Right.
little issues that are
So
very
let's flip that, and also remember we just talked about obedience, fiduciary duties, that if they want out, we have to help them out. And during conditional period, we're still bound through buyer brokerage to help them to market, to look for other properties,
Yes.
correct? So maybe we're at that home inspection stage and another property, in their opinion, is better, hits the market. If they want to see it, we have to show it.
Yes.
So then at that point, they may see that as a better property, and it might be worth eating that $500 in the inspection
Very true.
to proceed. So
Yep.
playing both sides of the fence here on that, but
Yep.
for sure something to consider.
Well, and another question we've had quite consistently over the last month is, do I have to provide a copy of the inspection to the selling party? And the truth is that if you did not use the inspection schedule, so meaning with the existing purchase contract that we have, there is not the additional schedule included with it. If for some reason you did use the additional schedule, at that point you do have to provide a copy if asked. Right. But for 99% of the time, you do not have to provide a copy. And so the issues that pop up with the inspection, that is your buyer's information to have. It's up to them how they want to proceed. And you're not legally binded to provide a copy to the selling party.
When I'm representing my sellers, I love seeing buyer's agents attach that schedule. And they're still doing it. That's the interesting. There's still some that do it. For those that don't know, 3 years ago, I think it was, that was a mandatory form. And then the contracts changed, and that was no longer a mandatory schedule to attach, correct?
That's right.
So that schedule did say if the buyer for some reason didn't proceed with the deal, the sellers had the right to request a copy of the report in writing. We had to provide it. So some people still think that you have to provide it, which you don't. I've come into a couple of cases lately, and I spoke to other agents where deal fell apart, and the seller's agent requested a copy, and the buyer's agent has actually said, well, we'll give it to you, but you have to pay for half of the report.
Yep.
So I don't see the reason in holding on to the report. I get the confidentiality piece, but I'd like to see it.
Well, and on that level too, if you happen to be representing a buyer and the buyer asks for a copy of a previous inspection report, your buyer should be made aware that whatever insurances are in that report from the inspector that did it, they will not survive into your client's hands. So any guarantees that are in that report, your client cannot use.
And why would they ask for that report?
Some buyers want to save money. Some buyers think that they can just pay half the fee, get the report, make a good decision. The issue, though, is that if they do that and then there turns out to be something inaccurate, something where the inspector said this aspect was fine and it turns out to be a major issue, that inspector's insurance does not cover that buyer. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
I was always pro do your own inspection for my buyers.
$500,000 purchase, and you're looking to save $500 on an inspection.
That's right.
We buy a used car, we pay the money to have an inspection. We don't go off of what the mechanic has said as their inspection, so why are we doing that with real estate, right?
Exactly.
So,
and when it comes to sellers, something to consider is we traditionally, historically, August is a slower month for real estate sales.
yeah.
Can we bank on that? No, because our years for the last few years have been a little up and down. But we should be setting the expectation with our sellers at this point that showings are slowing. A lot of people are taking advantage of the nice weather. Tons of buyers that have kids are on their vacation periods right now where they're away from the city. So slowings, we should expect them to slow. And setting that expectation with your seller is a good move. You never want your seller to feel like you're asleep at the wheel.
Right.
And that things are just coasting. You want to keep them informed, even if there's no activity happening. No showings, no sales in their community, no price reductions. Tell them that. Reach out and let them know that. And let them know not to expect a whole bunch of showings right now. Would you agree, Todd?
Totally agree. It's that weekly stay in touch with your seller, right? To pick on you, I believe you used to do it Sunday nights, if I'm not mistaken. You'd send out an email to your sellers and let them know the weekly activity.
Close. Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah, I was so close. So close. Anyway, Sunday, Tuesday, same thing.
I used to go Tuesdays or Wednesdays because of the fact that a lot of agents would update the MLS
Got it.
Mondays or Tuesdays from the weekend activity.
Yeah, so close.
You're pretty close, though, Todd.
Anyways,
Moving on.
I recommend, obviously, the weekly touch point with your sellers. And you're right. If nothing's happened in a week, there's been 0 showings, do you just not say anything to your client? Or do you say, I have nothing for you, right? Maybe there's been a price adjustment. Maybe something has maybe happened in that market that you can relay as value back to your client.
Yes.
They just don't want to be forgotten. The biggest complaint we get is I've seen is that I don't feel like I have any contact with my realtor. So even a phone call or an email or text, however your sellers want to talk to you, and just let them know nothing's happened this week. I'm on it.
Yep.
Right? I'm here still. That's all you're relaying to them is, listen, I got nothing to say, but I'm on it. I'm still here. And certainly in the summer months when it is slow and maybe we are on holidays, but we still need to watch our business and certainly our listings and not have our clients feel like they're abandoned.
100%.
Right? So,
Yep. I would agree in full.
yeah.